My name is Connor. I'm 45 years old, and I've always had a bit of a reputation for going all in. Whether it's work, travel, or food, especially food, I don't do things halfway. But nothing quite prepared me for the day my love of durian, coffee, and Coke landed me in the emergency room during what was supposed to be a relaxing vacation in Malaysia. This wasn't my first trip. It was my fourth time visiting, and by now I felt like a seasoned visitor. I absolutely love Malaysia. The vibrant energy, the warm people, the tropical humidity that wraps around you like a hot blanket. And of course, durian. Yes, I'm one of those people. The ones who don't just tolerate durian but worship it. I fell in love with durian right here in Malaysia. I remember my first bite years ago, hesitant, skeptical, but then boom, love at first chew. Ever since, I've been hooked. My wife Samantha, however, not so much. She'll nibble on a piece or two just to humor me, but she still cringes every time I talk about it, or worse, when I try to sneak some into our itinerary. I never dare bring it back to the hotel, though. In fact, that's rule number one here. No durians allowed inside hotel rooms, elevators, or even most cabs. The signs are everywhere, and the smell gives you away instantly. We arrived late at night at KLIA 2, groggy and stiff from the flight. A quick grab ride brought us to our hotel in Bukit Bintang, where the city still buzzed even past midnight. I was tired, but underneath the fatigue was a bubbling excitement. I barely slept, maybe 2 to 3 hours max. Jet lag, adrenaline, and the thought of Musang King durian had me wide awake by dawn. I dragged Samantha out of bed early, insisting we hit the streets. "You don't waste time in Malaysia," I told her, "especially not on your first day." We stopped at a humble kopitiam for breakfast. I ordered a strong kopi o kao, jet black and thick as motor oil, and a classic combo of soft-boiled eggs and kaya toast. It was bliss. I've always been a coffee lover, but Malaysian coffee has this punch that just hits different. It felt like my veins were buzzing, and I was ready to conquer the city. We spent the entire day exploring on foot. From the Petronas Twin Towers to the new TRX skyscraper to the air-conditioned corridors of Pavilion Mall, we walked until our legs ached. The heat was intense, humid and relentless, but I was running on fumes and caffeine. At lunch, I had another coffee, kopi susu, sweet and creamy. We rested briefly at the TRX food court before heading back out. By mid-afternoon, I was fading again, so naturally, I made a pit stop at Starbucks for an Asian dolce latte with an extra shot. I paired it with a chocolate muffin to balance out all the caffeine. Samantha gave me the look, the one that says, "You're going to regret this later." But at the time, I felt fine. Just a bit sweaty and tired. Normal for KL. Evening fell, and with it came my moment of glory. We strolled to Jalan Alor, one of KL's most famous food streets. The smells, the lights, the voices, it was chaotic and magical. I could smell the durian from a block away. We picked a stall with gorgeous, golden-fleshed Musang King durians. I went all in. 4 durians, one after another. Samantha ate a few pieces, but she tapped out early and ordered 2 ice-cold Cokes instead. I grabbed one from her and took big gulps between bites. Looking back, that combination of rich durian, caffeine, sugar, dehydration, lack of sleep, and a full day of walking in the tropical heat, it was like building a bonfire and throwing gasoline on it. We got back to the hotel around 9 p.m. I remember feeling sluggish, like someone had flipped a switch. I collapsed on the bed, mumbling something about how great the day was. Then I closed my eyes. Around 10:30 p.m., I woke up with a weird sensation in my chest. At first, it felt like a flutter. Then it turned into a violent thumping. Erratic, fast, uncontrolled. It felt like frogs on drugs doing backflips inside my chest. I sat up, dizzy and lightheaded. My vision blurred. My breath shortened. Samantha noticed right away and rushed to my side. "Connor, are you okay?" she asked, panic creeping into her voice. I don't know. My heart's going crazy. I remember the feeling so vividly, like my heart had turned into a malfunctioning washing machine. I couldn't slow it down. I tried deep breathing, splashing water on my face. Nothing worked. The panic grew louder than the heartbeat itself. My hands were clammy. I was sweating through my shirt. Samantha ran down to the lobby and informed the front desk. Within minutes, an ambulance was called. Those next moments were surreal. Lying in the back of that ambulance, lights flashing above me, sirens echoing through the KL streets. I couldn't believe this was happening. My vacation had turned into a medical emergency. I was admitted to the ER and immediately hooked up to machines. My heart rate was irregular, around 140 beats per minute, skipping unpredictably. They checked my oxygen levels, started IV fluids, gave me meds to slow things down, and began monitoring me closely. The ER doctor arrived and gently said, "You're in paroxysmal atrial fibrillation. It's a temporary, but potentially serious rhythm disturbance. Your heart's electrical system is misfiring." The words landed hard. I was stunned. I'd heard of AFib, but it always sounded like something that happened to older people or people with long-standing heart issues, not someone like me who felt fit and healthy most of the time. The doctor asked what I'd done that day. I told him everything: my poor sleep, all the walking, 3 different types of coffee, 2 Cokes, a pile of Durian. He raised an eyebrow, half smiling. "There's a local myth here," he said, "that Durian with Coke or coffee is dangerous. Most people laugh it off. But in your case, that combo may have just overwhelmed your system." He explained it wasn't any single thing. It was the perfect storm: caffeine, sugar, dehydration, exhaustion, and the stimulant effect of everything I'd consumed just overloaded my heart. And although the myth isn't strictly true, if someone already has an underlying heart rhythm vulnerability, like I apparently did, it can absolutely be enough to tip things over. I stayed in the hospital overnight for monitoring. I didn't sleep much. I kept listening to the beeping of the machines, the occasional murmur of nurses walking by, and the soft whoosh of the air conditioning. My thoughts ran in circles. Was this going to be a lifelong issue? Would I be able to fly home safely? Was I just getting old? By the next afternoon, I was stabilized. My heart had returned to normal rhythm. I was discharged with strict instructions to take it easy for the rest of the trip, stay hydrated, cut down on caffeine, and see a cardiologist when I got home. Back at the hotel, I sat quietly with Samantha on the balcony. She made me a cup of warm barley water. 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, just something calming. We didn't say much. I think we were both just grateful. Grateful it happened in a city with great emergency care. Grateful we had travel insurance. Grateful it wasn't something worse. And above all, grateful that I had her with me every second of that night. Later, as I lay in bed and looked out at the glowing skyline of Kuala Lumpur, I reflected on everything. The body isn't invincible. You can feel perfectly fine and still have something brewing beneath the surface. I pushed too hard. I ignored the fatigue. I treated my body like it was bulletproof. And it reminded me, with force, that it wasn't. Would I eat durian again? Absolutely. Would I order kopio cow again? You bet. Would I do them all in one day on 2 hours of sleep in blazing heat like I'm 25? Never again. Because sometimes, even when you're doing what you love in a place you adore, life throws you a warning shot. Mine just happened to sound like frogs doing backflips in my chest.